Jehovah's Witnesses, they loudly proclaim another gospel. Now, here's what's interesting about the Jehovah's Witnesses literature. It has changed in the past 10, 15 years since I first started getting it door to door. The Jehovah's Witnesses are not Christians, but they have started to really try to make themselves look Christian. You read their stuff, they don't out and out in their literature they'll give you now say that there is no heaven, that Jesus isn't God, that there is no hell, these sort of things. They have become very subtle because they realized people were, revealing them for who they were, for being a cult, not for being the truth, and so they started to get real subtle about themselves. Where do Jehovah's Witnesses come from? Well, they teach the words of Charles Taze Russell. Back in the day, it was in the late 1800s, there was a guy named Charles Taze Russell, and basically he was upset about the doctrine of hell. He didn't like the doctrine of hell. He was upset about some other things, so he kind of formed his own religion. And he twisted some different Bible passages and Bible teachings, and he developed basically the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yes?
I was going to say they actually had a different name when he was still alive.
Yeah, they called them Russellites. That's what they called them back then. They call themselves the Jehovah's Witnesses out of a passage in Isaiah. "You are my witnesses, saith the Lord." But that's why they call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses. But they teach salvation by works. When they come to your door, you can ask them about how can a person be justified by God, and they'll interestingly, recently some of them said, justification by faith. Well, what's that mean? Well, you have to be baptized into the Kingdom Hall. You have to do a list of good works. You have to go door to door a certain number of hours every week in order to be saved. And it's very sad that these people are stuck in this cult. It's a terrible thing. They're lost. They're on their way to hell, and they're entrapped in a horrible doctrine. The Jehovah's Witnesses teach that Jesus is not God. They teach Jesus and Michael the archangel are the same. They teach that Jesus is a God, they'll say, or he is a created being, but then they say there's only one God. Their doctrine it's kind of self-contradictory, and they're very deceitful about it. They teach that the Holy Spirit is an impersonal force. This is kind of an interesting hallmark also of a lot of these cults and false doctrines, is God is not a personal present God whom you can know. God is a distant God. And they teach something else. It's interesting, when we interviewed the Catholics, I'm kind of rabbit trailing here a little, but when we interviewed the Catholic guy, he talks about, well, if you're nervous to talk to Jesus, you can talk to Mary. What happened to let us therefore come boldly into the throne of grace that we may find grace, mercy, and obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need? God is a present God, a very real God. He is a personal God who wants to know you and you to know Him.
He's not the old man.
No, He's not the old man. He's not the man upstairs. If you're saved, He is your Father. He loves you. The Holy Spirit is your seal of redemption. He is the down payment of all the good things to come. He is the comforter. He is real, and He is in you. And He is not a distant, impersonal force. The Jehovah's Witnesses teach soul sleep. They teach that the moment you die, you stop existing. And they teach if you are meek, this is the word they like to use, if you are one of the meek, they take it from Psalm chapter 37, the meek shall inherit the earth. If they teach if you're one of the meek, you get resurrected at the millennial kingdom. Originally, they taught you had to be one of the 144,000. But there got to be more than 144,000 Jehovah's Witnesses, so that got awkward. So, anyway, basically what they teach is if you're not justified, you just stop existing. If you are justified, which is pretty hard, and you have to be really lucky to get justified, then you get to inherit the earth. They don't teach heaven. They teach there is no hell. And you can show them Bible passage after Bible passage about hell, and they'll argue, well, it doesn't mean what it says. If the Bible doesn't mean what it says, you can make up whatever doctrine you want to. And that's what Charles Taze Russell did. They teach the lost are annihilated. They attack all these doctrines of the Bible. And it's basically one guy, Charles Taze Russell, got mad about the truth. He didn't like the truth. Just like it says, it's a gospel which is of men, not of God. And so that kind of illustrates for you the hallmarks of a cult. The Jehovah's Witnesses are a pretty good typical cult.